Yeah, everyone kept looking at your resume and they're like, welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting. Today is Friday, April 11th, special meeting, I'm sorry, Friday, April 11th, 2025. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. John Bodie, can you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on the agenda is the resignation from the Land Acquisition Commission of Steve Sivikoff, unaffiliated, 128 Katona Drive, term 11/21 to 11/25. He resigned as of March 25th, 2025. Thank you so much, Stephen, for your service. His work life is forcing him to travel a lot more than he had expected and wasn't able to be here for the meetings. Second, B is Parking Authority, David G. Bothwell, Republican, 235 Shoreham Village Drive, term 11/20 to 11/25, resigned as of March 19th, 2025. Thank you so much, David, for your service on the Parking Authority. Item number 4, appointments. Number 1, A, Golf Commission. Don DiMartino, Republican, 84 Sunset Circle, term 425 to 430, to replace Michael L. Feinstein, whose term expired. May I have a motion? Second. Don, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Here, there.
If you don't mind, up there so that we can see you on, yeah.
Well, thanks for considering me. I'm excited about the opportunity. I've been a golfer for as long as Smith has been open. I've been in the men's club there for many years. I currently serve on the Board of Governors and I'm the liaison to the Golf Commission. So I know the course very well. I know the facility very well. I was on the building committee for the clubhouse renovation. And I'm just excited to help, optimize the golf experience in our town. As a retired structural engineer and construction project manager, I want to share my experience in that field just to help with the long-term plan that's in motion for the course improvements. And I thank you for getting that approved. It's already off to a nice start. And I know a lot of the members on the commission, and I'd love to work with them and just, help manage the contractors, the Parks and Rec, and try to keep cost schedule and quality so we can get those improvements in place.
Well, Don, thank you for all of your work on the Town Facilities Commission, on the helping to get the clubhouse built, and all your help with the golf course, and you're going to be a huge help with the long-term plan, and really appreciate your stepping up to do this, and you can come very highly recommended from
Thank you very much.
People.
Agree.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for volunteering and being an asset to this commission. As we might be tapping you in for, as a consult on other town projects, though, given your experience.
Sure.
We have a lot going on right now, but thank you for volunteering.
Thanks for having me.
It's nice to see you, Don, and I wish you good luck. I think you're going to enjoy this appointment quite a bit.
Oh, thank you very much.
B, Land Acquisition Commission, Mark J. Egan, Democrat, 404 Pine Creek Avenue, term 1121 to 1125. Mark is replacing, moving from alternate to replace the full member, Stephen Sivikoff, who resigned. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Hey, Mark is on, Mark, you're online, right? Thought I saw his name. Yeah, is Mark Egan online?
Okay.
He's going to be joining remotely. Saw him a little while ago. Okay. Mark is not here, but he's got a great resume. I think he'll be great. He's, if everyone is okay with it, if you've reviewed his resume and are okay with approving him, otherwise we can put it off until he is here.
Well, I mean, given that he's an alternate right now, I feel like I'm comfortable moving forward today, given his current experience.
That's how I feel, and his experience is invaluable. He's had a
No
real
issue at all.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from the public? Back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Did we vote on Don? I need to back up. Did we? I am a little scattered. I didn't ask for a public comment for Don DiMartino, so I'm going to back up.
Okay.
Any public comment on Don DiMartino's appointment? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor of Don DiMartino for the Golf Commission, say aye.
Aye.
So thank you, Don. And we voted for Mark as well. So thank you, Mark. And I'm sure we can get him on at another time. So item C, Land Acquisition Commission alternate, Bruce Audino. And Bruce is online by Zoom. So Anthony Bruce Audino, unaffiliated, 475 Mill Hill Drive, term 1122 to 1126, to replace Mark Egan, Democrat, who is moving to full member. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Bruce, are you unmuted?
I believe so. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yes, and thank you. Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but yes, Bruce Audino here. I am third generation Fairfield resident. So I've spent my whole life here, a lot of time in open space. I know how important it is to conserve serve land, and I had a plant science major going into college. I graduated with a business degree, but again, it's something I have a real passion for, and look forward to working with a great group of people in a great town.
Thank you. Yeah, it is a good group, and they've been active, and appreciate your stepping up to do this. Any other comments from the board?
Oh, I love that just volunteering, public service is providing an avenue for you to pursue something that you're passionate about that's outside of your professional experience. So look forward to seeing the work that you'll be doing on this commission, and thank you for stepping up.
Great, thank you. Again, I really appreciate the opportunity.
Any other comments from the board?
I hope you enjoy it, Anthony.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Congratulations, and thank you very much, Bruce. All right.
Thank you.
Bill, do you want to let them know that they don't need to stay on? Or
Oh, yeah, anyone who's been approved, you don't need to stick
some
around.
people don't know that.
Great. Well, enjoy the rest of your day and have a nice weekend. And
Thanks, you
Have a
too.
nice weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
Item number 5, purchasing authority to hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into the proposed contract between the Town of Fairfield and Silktown Roofing, Inc. of Manchester, Connecticut, to provide all labor, materials, equipment, and all else necessary, partially replace existing roof areas at McKinley Elementary School, state project number 051-0160RR, as detailed in Town of Fairfield bid number 2025-47 and the Silktown bid submission dated March 20th, 2025, for a total base contract of $1,128,000, with additional authority to enter into necessary change orders in an amount not to exceed the approved funding for this project. May I have a motion? Sal, or, Adam, do you want to start?
Thank you. Adam Tulin, Director of Purchasing. We put out this bid earlier this spring. We received, I think, a great response. We got 6 bid submissions, all from pretty well-known, reputable companies, generally all within a nice little range, proximity of each other in terms of price. Low bid was Silktown Roofing, who we know well. At the March meeting of the Special Project Standing Building Committee, they approved moving forward with award with Silktown. So we're here today to get authorization to enter into a contract with them. It's a standard AIA contract that's been prepared by the project designer, Silver Petroselli, and it has been submitted to Attorney Pierce for review.
Thank you. Would you like to add anything, Sal? You're on mute, if you can hear us.
Yeah, okay. No, I thought you had to unmute me. I'm sorry about that. We're happy to work with Silktown Roofing again. They've done many of our roofs over the past 10, 15 years, and they always do good work, and they keep on schedule. So, we're happy that they won the bid, and we're going to be working together again. And we're looking forward to getting the new roof.
All right, thank you. I just, quick question. We've done some other partial roof replacements recently. Have we gotten more bid interest recently than in the past couple?
I think it's been pretty strong. Sal, were you at the walkthrough today for Stratfield?
Yeah, the walkthrough today, we have 2 other roof projects for this summer. We had a walkthrough for Tomlinson today. And 2 days ago, we had one for Stratfield. The attention at the Tomlinson was a little bit more than the Stratfield one. And one of the bidders commented, he goes, yeah, we'd like to get out on Friday as opposed to Wednesday, they're non-mandatory walkthroughs, but usually you do not get a bidder that doesn't walk through on a roofing project. They want to put their eyes on it. We usually have very good response to our roofing bids. We always have at least 4 bids turned in. It seems like, as far as my memory goes. I believe this one we had 6 or 7.
Yes, and Lee just let me know that there were 6 companies at the walkthrough today.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. It seemed like more, I was hoping maybe this is a sign that construction companies are not as busy as they used to be. So, okay.
Well, it's all timing and everything, and I'm actually happy for the response that we received, given that we're late in the season. We ran into a couple of snags this year that we're usually doing our walkthroughs no later than February, so we're a couple of months behind this year.
Any questions from the board?
It's just amazing to me that I was on the RTM when we advocating to tear down McKinley School in 2001 because of water infiltration. 2025 now, and wow, time sure goes by, doesn't it?
Goes fast.
Yeah, they are not our brand new buildings anymore.
No, feels like yesterday.
Okay, any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Sal.
Thanks,
Thank
Sal.
you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for your work on this. Item number 6, Water Pollution Control Authority. To hear, consider, and act on approving an agreement for professional services between the town of Fairfield and BDP Industries, Inc. for the purpose of piloting a sludge biodrying process at the Water Pollution Control Facility. May I have a motion?
So moved. Excited.
Fantastic. John, will you be taking this?
Sure. Due to a piece of legislation that was enacted October 1st of 2024, we can no longer compost because we cannot land apply our compost because the sludge contains PFAS. So we were forced into now trucking out. We're spending a lot of money on a heavy product. We pay by the ton. This pilot will use existing equipment, no cost to us, to run our sludge through the compost building, and instead of making a Class A biosolids, we're going to dry it from roughly 15% to 65% dry solids, reducing the amount and reducing the weight. And again, BDP is going to supply all the engineering assistance, expertise, as they did this about 10 years ago. So no cost, less smell, and less money, hopefully, in the end. They're going to go, they initiated it for 6 months. They'll go up to a year, no cost.
And then what happens after that if you like?
If it's successful, we will continue to do it. We will, instead of a lot, we're going to go to probably half of what we're doing now. So that means less trucks, less weight, less money.
And then you would enter into a contract with?
I don't even think we need to enter into a contract with them, because this, once we get it, our guys will know it, we can just run it. And it may take a little bit of engineering from them, but it wouldn't be a costly contract every year. So this would be something we can utilize and move forward with and carry on.
So this pilot is something that is the state?
No, this is something that BDP, our provider of composting equipment, came to us and said, hey, we did this 10 years ago, and getting rid of biosolids back then was no big deal. Now it's becoming a problem. How about we try this at your place, see if it works out? If it doesn't work at any point, we pull the plug and it's over. But if it works out, we're going to save a tremendous amount of money.
So they're doing it and if it works, they can then market this elsewhere?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this is a big thing, biosolids disposal in the Northeast.
And when you, after the the dried product, and you'll test that to see what the PFAS levels are? Or?
It won't get rid of PFAS.
Okay.
The method to get rid of it hasn't really been come up with yet.
Okay.
If you can come up with that, you'd be a billionaire instantly. So the main focus is we're going to landfill. So there's no limitations really on PFAS or anything. So sending a drier, less voluminous amount of stuff is what we're after.
So that's really the sole purpose?
Yes.
Is to have less volume.
Less volume and drier stuff. Yep.
Right. So so the water that comes out of the sludge won't necessarily take PFAS with it into another form, but
no, it shouldn't.
Okay.
It's not going to go away, but it'll probably end up staying in the sludge.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Yeah.
Just WPCA, we're excited, the commission, about moving this forward in this technology. And we spoke just coming through the budget and close to $1 million just to get rid of our sludge in its current form. I think anything that we can do to mitigate those costs is something that we should be doing. So I thank you for being proactive and working with this vendor to look for hopefully a long-term solution, which will save money for the taxpayer or to be reinvested in the facility, because we know that there's a long list of needs there.
Yeah, I actually, I didn't understand everything in the report, but you expect the ultimate product to be about half of, or
Right now,
65?
what we're trucking out is about 15% solids. What we're hoping to get out of this is 65%.
Right,
So we're gonna reduce
a lot.
a lot. And the nice thing about it is, or an interesting thing about it is, what comes off the end result gets cycled back around and gets mixed with the new stuff. So we're gonna be sending out drier and a lot less if this works to the way we think. And like I said, the company did this 10 years ago, and it was successful.
Did I read correctly that it's like a 70 to 90-day process, or?
The initial process is about 21 days through.
Right,
That 21 days, it then goes through another set, so that's 42.
okay,
So 42 days, you'll get your 65%.
okay,
And then at least half of that gets mixed in with fresh stuff coming in to help it dry out.
okay.
So,
And we have the storage capacity for,
yes, right now we do. If it really becomes successful and we go this way, then we're gonna have to put some, like one of those big hoop tents up to store it in, but that's down the road.
how about in terms of smell to the
As
neighbors?
long as you keep it dry, no smell.
The process, will it increase the smell?
No, because the process we used to run composting, we were running at about 65 C. This will be a lot less lower. We're not trying to heat it up. We're trying to blow air through it and just
Okay.
dry it out.
All right. Well, I already went to the public and came back, and I don't see anyone online raising their hand. So any comments any more questions or comments from the board? Take it to a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Unanimous.
Thank you.
Fantastic, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 7, purchasing authority. To hear, consider, and act on authorizing the purchasing authority to enter into the proposed contract between the town of Fairfield and Carollo Engineers of Arlington, Virginia, to provide labor and all else necessary for engineering services related to the development of a wastewater collection system hydraulic and hydrologic model as detailed in Town of Fairfield RFP number 2025-33 and the Carollo RFP submission dated December 12, 2024 for an initial base contract of $475,000 with additional authority to enter into necessary change orders in an amount not to exceed the approved funding for this project. May I have a motion? Adam.
Good afternoon. We put out this RFP late last year. We put together an RFP committee that included representatives from the engineering department, the WPCF, as well as a representative from the WPCA. Commission, sorry, yeah. And after reviewing the submissions and bringing it, we only received 2 responses, so they were both brought in for interviews. And after completing that process, we are recommending award to Carollo Engineers. They received the highest score from the committee, and we'd like to move forward with a contract at this time.
Magda, can you add anything to what this will do for us?
Yes, it's a very big step towards, I think, towards the town to analyze the hydraulics and hydrology of all our sewer pipe networks. So what this will do, we will start, just go with the flow chart. So it will start with the existing condition analysis, all the maps and as-built maps that we have in town, all the GIS database that we have. They will take that data and will analyze the data, all the sewer pipe networks, all entire town. First of all, that will be the first step once they analyze. And any missing data that is there, they will start filling up the gaps with that data, whether they may have to go out in the field to do the surveying work, or they have to, they have to ask for other additional information. So once that existing data is collected, then next step would be analysis and start building our sewer network. So sewer network, sewer sheds and sewer basins. So once the sewer shed, meaning little sheds, they will develop a sewer sheds of each area. And once that shed is developed, they will do the basins, meaning they will try to connect the outfalls, where the outfalls of the sewer is, and it's connecting to the main interceptor lines. We don't know really what these little networks of the sewer pipes are and where they are connecting to. So this will help us to make a full mapping and connect to the main line. So we will know which main line is connected to the WPCF plant. So once that whole map is developed, then they will go to the land use development, meaning what are the future developments are coming that will impact these capacities, what are the existing developments are there that are impacting the capacity. So capacity analysis will be done with the land use data. We will have all the land use patterns, future, existing. And then on top of that, they will also analyze all this dry weather flow monitoring and wet weather flow monitoring. So during dry weather, they will do base flow of water analysis, meaning just a regular that how many residents are using the flow is going regularly in the pipes. That will also, the flow monitoring will be installed to for the seasonal groundwater fluctuations and wet weather to know exactly how much is the infiltration and inflow analysis. So once all that analysis is done, they will know if there is an infiltration, there is a groundwater infiltration, seasonal fluctuation, base flow water analysis. Once that data is gathered, it will move on, and this is a hydrology part. The whole hydrology will also be involved. So once this part is gathered, they will move on to the calibration part, meaning they will have to verify with something with the existing model that was either previously developed, or they will have to do the runoff, like the return period analysis. So they will have to do the calibration to make sure that the data they have collected so far is verified properly. From calibration, they will go to your sewer network capacity analysis, that is the sewer, the capacity is enough or not. And this is where this whole capital improvement plan will come into play, where they will see these pipes need immediate attention, this needs long-term attention, and this needs medium time attention with the timeline, with the cost estimates, and then the town will have the full mapping and picture in front of them that what needs to be paid attention than just going on pieces. So it's a very good piece of analysis, and it will also require softwares. It will be all computer-oriented work where these models will be developed on the computers, and we will be moving forward, we will be analyzing through all these softwares. So this is the process that will involve, which is a very big step, I think, for the town.
So are they going to leave behind, like in pipes, like monitoring equipment that you can continuously monitor flow, or?
No, they will just do it flow monitoring. They will gather the information and they can take away that flow monitors. They don't have to leave there, but that flow monitoring, they will know the capacity of dry weather and wet weather and dry weather and wet weather. They will install the flow monitors and they will develop a model based on what they have gathered, the data, and the calibration will be done. So yeah, flow monitoring can be taken out once that model is developed on that.
So some of these pipes over the 100+ years that we don't know where everything is
Yes.
that right? Okay, so now we're going to know where everything is.
The network and the sewer
how it
bases.
connects.
Yes, exactly.
But
All
we
the
have done
connections.
already some I&I work on manhole covers and other work.
Yes.
So this will give us a baseline at a certain point of time, but it may be not as bad, because some work's already been
Yes,
done, right?
yes, it's
But it will
done.
serve as the current baseline for future improvement.
Exactly, it will be for more future robust plan that you will have. The ones that we have is in bit and pieces. This is the whole network analysis.
How long will it take?
They took around 2026, so 2 years time period they have listed.
And they'll be starting right after we sign?
Right after you sign off, and we will start our kickoff meetings, and they will start flow monitoring actually by next month, because it's a nice spring May showers, so that's a good time.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Any questions or comments from the board?
This is really well done, Mega. Boy, you guys have a lot on your plate in engineering, and now you have some more. Good luck.
Thank you. Any
Any
questions?
other comments?
No, I think that's Nick came to WPCA, so heard this, got a preview of it. I think this work needs to be done. I think it's really exciting just to get just more information. The fact that we're able to start in the spring so we know we're going to have rain events, and to see how that I&I is going to be impacting capacity, I think will be valuable. And just in terms of getting, in terms of the capital plan, being able to prioritize, what comes first or adding new things. Knowledge is power, and this is just giving us the knowledge we need about a huge infrastructure component of our town, and a system that we're spending a lot of money on in the next 10 years. So happy to support this and thank Megan for the work that she's already done and for her leadership in this.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's a very interesting project. I love it.
Which is exciting. I'm excited that you're excited.
Yes. Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you so much, Megan, Adam, and Bill. Item number 8, engineering manager, to hear, consider, and act on approving an agreement between the State of Connecticut Department of Transportation and the installation/revision of rectangular rapid flashing beacons on Ash Creek Boulevard, Uncor Road, Kings Highway East, and Rhode Island Avenue, and to further authorize the first selectman to execute any and all documents required to effectuate the terms of said agreement. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Bill?
Sure. For anyone who doesn't know, the rectangular rapid flashing beacon is a proven safety countermeasure for pedestrian crossings by alerting motorists using alternating flashing lights activated by pedestrians. The existing RRFBs in town are located near the Sacred Heart University area on Jefferson Street, and right around the corner here at St. Paul's Church at Independence Hall. This project was approved by the first select woman and the current first selectman, police and engineering, about a year and a half ago. And now the DOT is formally requesting, a formal agreement. This has an approximate value of $100,000, which will include twin RRFB devices, signs, pavement markings, and handicap ramps at each location. The town would be responsible for the maintenance after the installation. For the Uncor Road location in front of Tomlinson School and the parking area there of the railroad station, a small easement is required to allow state contractor to install the RFB conduit and handicap ramp on town property. The selections were limited, and the 3 locations, as mentioned before, were Ash Creek Boulevard by the Metro Center, the Uncor Road by Tomlinson School, and Kings Highway East and Rhode Island Avenue by the Metro Center on the north side. So, and these were all included in the DOT grant. So I'm here to answer any other questions you may have.
I have no questions. Do you have any questions or comments? Any other questions or comments from the board? Excited to see these get put in.
Thanks. It's nice to have an easy one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor, say aye. Unanimous, I believe. Did Brenda vote yes? Okay. Thank you so much, Bill.
You guys have a nice weekend.
Bye, Mega. Thank you. Item number 9, Town Attorney, to hear, consider, and act on approving a public access and conservation easement agreement between 2190 Post Road, LLC, UAG Fairfield CP, LLC, Town of Fairfield, and Town of Fairfield Conservation Commission. May I have a motion?
Yeah.
Attorney Pierce. You're on mute. There we go.
It wasn't letting me unmute. So this is related to the settlement of the appeal Porsche filed for the development at 2190 Post Road. You're not acting on the zoning aspects of the settlement, but they have asked for the first selectman to sign the public access and conservation easement. They want the town of Fairfield as a party, and that's why this is before you. This encompasses the area, if you look at the map, which is an attachment to easement. Oh, you guys don't have a copy of the map. Well, it encompasses the area that is, do you guys have a copy of the map? I don't see it in the backup.
No.
No, but I know the property.
Oh, no, we do.
The easement area encompasses the area along the Mill River. And it would be used for conservation purposes. There's a walking path, and there'll be an observation deck and a bike rack. So it's it's not a park, it's low impact conservation use. This has been approved by the Conservation Commission earlier, and it was approved by TPZ in connection with the settlement of the case.
I'm sorry, in connection with what, Phil?
The settlement of the cases, the administrative appeals.
Right. Any comments from the public or any comments or questions from the board?
So where is this again?
So this is 2190 Post Road. It's the Exide property.
Okay.
And so part of that property abuts the Mill River.
Yes.
So the portion of the property that abuts the Mill River would be not utilized for the development. It's a conservation easement.
Right. And how large is the piece? I'm looking at the map. It's hard to read it.
Yeah, I mean, the above land, the land piece is about half an acre, I believe.
Okay.
So as part of the settlement is that they gave the town an extra quarter acre or so of land,
Right.
which the zoning really wanted because they wanted more of a buffer for the river.
No, that was good of them to do. I know
It was very good of them. Yep.
Yeah, in the beginning, I remember, they wanted to make a little public space there. So that's good. Huh, good.
Is there going to be, not this really somewhat related, access to the Mill River from that? Like, can people kayak from?
So it's not really practical to kayak from that spot because there's a large drop. And
Okay.
I think based on the height of the water and the bridge, you can't really go anywhere. So, yeah, but there is one thing that was added as part of the settlement is there's an observation deck that will be near the water. So the public can go on the deck and fish or just, sit there and enjoy the river.
Nice.
Yeah, I have to say I was really pleased that after the project was voted down by Town Planning and Zoning Commission, they went to mediation, and I was really pleased with the amount of land that Roger Penske was willing to give up of that development, and I know it's made a lot of people happy. And also building of a platform that will allow more use of the property. I thought that I felt that the many members of the commission were pleased with that and allowed them to vote for this settlement, and appreciate that.
And I know that people had different ideas of what that property would be used for, and in some of the scenarios that had been talked about, access, having a public space abutting the river was important in all of those. So it's nice that with this development that will still be something that we'll be able to offer residents. And just as a buffer to the Mill River is always appreciative to protect our watersheds.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Christine. I think, a lot of people had ideas about this. And, I think that people forget, God, I was in the legislature, fighting to get additional testing done there with Senator McKinney, and Tom Stanky was the conservation director then, and we brought him up to Hartford to meet with DEEP and trying to get additional safeguards and testing and things. So, I mean, that site has been a long, long slog. It was so dirty, and I know there was a lot of pushback. People wanted certain things there, but honestly, I just think that having a use that's not going to have huge impact as far as traffic, people, all of that. It could have been, a very large scale residential development, which I think would have been bad for our town, because we have so many of them already. And I think this is a low impact use overall. And I think that, and honestly, I was a little disappointed with some of the comments toward the owners of the property during those hearings. And, these are people in our community who live in our community and invest in it, and pay a large portion of taxes. And I think this is, a fair agreement, and I'm glad that they were willing to come to the table and do these things. And so I'm glad that it's finally resolved and we can finally have something there and have some space for our residents, and the town will get some tax dollars to pay for all the things that we have on deck.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Attorney Pierce. Item number 10 has been removed. We're going to take this up at the next meeting. Item number 11, to consider and act upon the minutes of February 19th, 2025, February 28th, 2025, March 4th, 2025, and March 5th, 2025. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Can we break them up because I was absent at one of them?
Sure. Let's break them up. Item 11, to consider and act upon the minutes of February 19th, 2025. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions from the board? Seeing none. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Consider and act upon the minutes of February 28th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Second.
Okay. Any comments or questions about February 28th, 2025 minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor say aye.
Abstain.
Okay, abstention. So Brenda abstains from February 28, 2025 because you weren't here. To consider and act upon the minutes of March 4th, 2025. May I have a motion?
Second.
Any comments or questions from the board? Comments from the public? Back to the board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And to consider and act upon the minutes of March 5th, 2025. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions from the board? None. From the public? See none. Back to the board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item number 12, refunds. To consider and act upon tax refunds as recommended by the tax collector in the amount of $7,071.71. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none. Any from the public? Seeing none, back to the board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, fantastic. And First Selectman, to hear updates from the First Selectman on the fiscal year 2026 budget. So we had our last hearing at the RTM last night, and we're set for the RTM to have their vote on May 5th. The public is welcome to provide comments, their comments or questions to RTM members in the interim. The next is the feasibility study for Dwight School and other school facilities, potential school facilities, and Eli Gazal is going to give a brief update.
All right, good afternoon. For the feasibility study, we had a kickoff meeting on March 26th with Svigals, members of the Board of Ed, Town Administration, and the Capital Projects Group were in attendance. Over the past 2 weeks since that kickoff meeting, Svigals has been in what we call study mode, reviewing all drawings, reports, and documents that we have provided them along with the Board of Ed. They spent a few days at the Board of Ed's file room gathering additional drawings as well. So thank you to Angelus for providing them access to that. This upcoming Monday, Spiegels will be spending the day doing site visits at various locations, including Mona Terrace, Old Giant Steps, Riverfield, Osborne Hill, Jennings, and Dwight. So they got a busy day on Monday, and then we plan on scheduling an additional site day for visits later in the next week. We also have plans on setting up meetings the week of the 21st with a few stakeholders, including Anthony Calabrese, to discuss his requirements for fields on the properties, school resource officers, a little bit about security, a little bit about traffic, and also town engineer Bill Hurley to get his opinion. And I know he's done some work on the septic system that's on site there now, so Spiegels would like to chat with him as well. So a few busy couple weeks ahead, and then after they do these site visits and they come back and meet with some of the stakeholders, we'll have another meeting to progress and see how Spiegels is doing.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Just in terms of Mr. Calabrese, I know that the recreation plan has fields. There's a plan for Dwight, there's a plan for Giant Steps, but now given his new position and doing programming at Mona Terrace, will he also be giving feedback to potential uses for that building for community programming? Being that part of this is what that building, the feasibility for.
Yeah, this specific site visit now is just to see if Mona Terrace would be an acceptable facility for
school use?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Specifically for the escapes.
ECC.
Thank you very much. ECC, yes. Yep. So they will not be looking into additional programming needs at Mona Terrace for the senior center or anything like that in this phase right now.
Okay.
We're specifically we're prioritizing the ECC and the schools.
And in terms of, I'm glad that you can talk to Bill about the septic on Dwight. Is there any, looking at tying into a sewer line, is that part of this phase?
That is also part of what they plan on talking with Bill Hurley about.
Okay.
Yeah, because we do have some drawings. I know the sewer line is a little bit further than we'd like it to be, which is why they're exploring both options.
And I would be interested in that, and I know that, Dwight's, the Board of Ed has their plan currently and has acted. But just as we're talking about building, and potentially putting a new building there, a lot of questions have just kind of, well, what if, could you make the school bigger?
Yep.
And if you were going to make the school bigger and had more students there, the septic would be a concern.
Correct.
So I think that answering that question about, what the cost would be.
For sure, yeah.
Feasibility,
definitely
just tying to sewer
comparison.
would be something that I'd be looking for. So, thank you.
No problem.
Any
Just in terms of, I know the other thing, early on in these discussions, was just the site at Dwight with the soil testing. Is it too cold to start that? Do you have to wait for a certain?
Once we gave them the go-ahead at the kickoff meeting, it's a 4-week lead time to schedule the driller to go out there. So he does plan on going out there within the next 2 weeks. So we'll keep an eye out on that. We also, speaking with Angelus, that has to be during off hours.
I'm sure, working with Angela's, just that we have a school break next week.
Which is why the
seems
site
a perfect
visits.
Opportunity just to kind of get in there.
Yeah, of course.
And for Giant Steps, I know when you were doing the initial tours, people didn't go into the empty building because of just safety concerns. This time around, will people be geared up and going in?
Yeah, we're going. Yeah. We've been in there. Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit dirty, but we'll make it.
Be careful.
Yeah.
do you know if well, I guess Svigals will be looking at the Dwight site and determining whether they need easements from up top? Was that a question that they've resolved yet?
Not yet, no. That's part of the study, another conversation with Bill Hurley as well, with conservation as well. We do have an easement on the back of that property.
It hasn't been yet
used, yeah, it hasn't been used,
Okay.
yeah, the town owns it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a consideration with the new plan.
Right.
I mean, this is early in the process, but I guess as moving forward, if there's any sorts of changes to scope or additional costs, you'll just be reporting out to us.
Of course,
on that.
yep,
Okay,
yep.
thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, well, thank you. Eli.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you. Item 14, announcements. Does anyone have an announcement to make? Yes.
Just going into school break for Fairfield Public Schools. Wish everyone a happy school break and lots of holidays between Eid and Passover and Easter. We won't be meeting before that, so just want to wish everybody a happy spring holiday season.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I hope that some people are able to take next week and just have a little bit of time for friends and family and enjoying the season. That includes you.
Try.
That includes you.
You too. Thank
You know?
Thank you. You too.
Lots of evening meetings. You too.
Okay.
I would like to bring something up. There's a petition going around to allow the public to have a voice in the dissolution of the parking authority. And I just wanted to say that, I watched that meeting and, they voted to dissolve the parking authority. And when they did that, the RTM suspended its own rules and bypassed the standard process for proper notice and public input. And it's not just a technicality, it was a serious breach of the democratic process and procedures. And, really, regardless of anyone's feelings about the future of the parking authority, I believe that the way that this decision was rushed through should concern every citizen in this town. The process failed to honor our due process rules and transparency that all of our residents deserve. And I think it sends a message that rules can be cast aside when they're inconvenient. And without rules, there really is no order. And without order, we cannot have a good governance, similar to what is going on in Washington right now. Just somebody's in charge and they want something and it's going to happen and everyone's going to fall in line. The public has not had an opportunity. Rules were changed during the meeting, which is stunning to me. And I think it's wrong. And I think that the community should have a right and an opportunity to have their voice heard on this. We've had this thing for 50 years and the commuters had a voice and they were in charge of it. And I think that, most of all, the way that the rules were just discarded during that RTM meeting was pretty shocking to me. So I just wanted to bring up that there is a petition that is being circulated. The commission that has been running this thing for 50 years is very upset by it, feel like they weren't included in the process. And I think the public should know about it. So that's my announcement.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to say I've also circulated a letter informing people why I wanted this to happen. I understand it sounds like you're upset with the process as opposed to the result, which, that's fair. We do, the democratic process is there is a rule to be able to suspend the rules, and they use that rule to suspend the rules. And it is not the first time that the RTM or other bodies have done that. You can suspend the rules with the appropriate procedures and vote, and that's what was done. The result of it, I'm quite happy with. As I've explained to the public, I don't think the parking authority was the appropriate body. It's a group of 5 people that both you and I, Brenda, appoint that meet for typically a half hour once a month, if that. And I had very little oversight over a very core function of town. And in my view, did what they felt was their job, but which was not enough. That was maintaining parking lots. That was not happy with the way the parking lots were maintained, and I'm not happy with the parking conditions in Fairfield in general. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for Fairfield to improve parking. I'm really happy that we now, as a town, will have a more say over that. And we're going to invest pretty heavily in parking as part of the necessary part of development. This town's developed a lot, which requires investment in traffic calming and investment in parking options. So I get that you didn't like the process. You're not the only one. Some people have written to us that they don't like the fact that the parking authority was dissolved at all, which I am surprised about because I don't think most people even knew there was a parking authority. And up till now, I'd never gotten compliments about our parking lots or the way it was managed. I'd only gotten complaints, and a lot of them were coming to me. So I don't think looking back at this, I don't think that the complaints about dissolving the parking authority are very well informed, but maybe I get your point that you didn't like the way it was done. And that there should have been another month. However, that is within the rules, and they did act within the rules. So, we've had our say. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that, Christine.
Well, Bill, I would just say that, our community is very involved, right? And they want to be part of decision-making. And so, clearly there was very little discussion about this at prior meetings. I served on the RTM, as did you. And there are rules in place about discussions happening, agendas being posted for the public. So, with all due respect, having an agenda posted that you're going to hear an item,
Point of
and then
order.
for the majority of the members to say they're going to now change the item from here to here and act is a sleight of hand, and it's not fair to the public, who thought they had more time didn't even know this was happening. And it's just.
I think you've said
It's inappropriate, and I'm sorry, but the process is wrong.
I mean, this is an announcement.
And it lacks transparency.
We're now discussing the actions of another body that we don't have purview over the control over, and I don't think it's appropriate that we go.
And Brenda said her piece,
And I think that as the announcement has been made, the public has been aware, you've been sharing information in the newsletter. As it stands right now, this is moving forward, and this is going to be a town department, and I would just ask that as the process, that transition moves forward, that you just provide updates to the Board of Selectmen, similar to the updates we're getting about the school feasibility studies in terms of.
Yeah, and there will be more transparency going forward than there ever has been with the parking.
And I think that we've heard, and just heard some of the concerns, but addressing those, but also discussing the real opportunities that could be there in terms of improvements, and our train stations are a gateway to our community, and look forward to hearing what the plans are for the future. And I think this is a venue for this.
Christine, I would also note that this was not brought up to us at the Board of Selectmen during the budget process, which I think is another sleight of hand and a lack of transparency.
Well, I think the parking authority was brought up during the budget
No,
process.
not the pulling it apart and adding it to the town departments.
Can I ask you a question, Brenda? You're gathering signatures, right, for the petition. Do people know that this referendum is going to cost the town about $40,000?
I know that the commuters sent out information asking for people to sign this petition because they feel that they were not given an opportunity to be heard during this process. And I'm all about process and about good government and allowing the community to have their voice be heard.
Right. But you were on the platform gathering signatures yesterday, right?
Yes, I was.
So do people understand how expensive a referendum is, do you think?
I don't think people understand that, $1 million could be swept away from the money that they pay into it. And that in a couple of years, their parking pass fees can go up and they're not getting anything for it. So, you know,
I think that we need to be careful. I don't think that's accurate. I think they are still getting a service being provided to them for their fees. And I mean, this just ad hoc discussion on something that the public would be interested in hearing. I think that, was a request to discuss the parking authority made, Brenda, to the first selectman to have this as a formal agenda item on this agenda?
I'm sorry?
Did you make a request to the first selectman to have the parking authority added to the agenda? So it could be properly noticed to the public prior to our meeting?
I don't know that would, I'm pretty sure that probably wouldn't have happened, but also there is
No,
not.
I mean,
I
I just am asking in terms of, we're talking about noticing the public and having
Noticing the
them.
public is, you know, talking about a petition against an action.
I understand that, but
that
we're
the
right
first
now,
selectman wanted to happen.
having a
I'm fairly
discussion
sure
about the
he wouldn't
parking
wanna have it on
authority
here.
under announcements. So this referendum talk of it has been going on for a few days. Yesterday were actively, it sounds like, gathering signatures, and in the, you know, and I'm about process too, as in terms of wanting the public to be informed, and happy to have this discussion, but right now, this discussion has not been noticed to the public. So if you wanted to have this discussion at the Board of Selectmen level, did you make the request to the first selectman to add this to the agenda yesterday? Because then it could have been added, the public could have known that we were going to be talking about it. I could have come better prepared to have the discussion, and we could have had it. I don't like these ad hoc added under announcements, and similar to the whole open board comment, that there's an avenue for the discussion to be had so the public can be brought along with us. And in this case, we didn't notice the public.
I think it's a little late to notice the public. I think it's a little late to notice the public about something that's already happened.
Well, the RTM has acted. We are not the RTM.
No, we're
The
not.
public
But we
can
had a
reach out.
budget
The
that didn't
public-
include this item in it.
The parking authority was in the
Christine, what you're
budget.
saying is that Board of Selectmen members have no business bringing up anything that's on their mind.
No, that's
happening.
not what I'm
And
saying.
frankly, that
I'm
is
saying
not
that
a
it's
transparent
clear.
government.
Ms.
But
Kupchak,
that's fine.
Ms. Kupchak, that is not what I am saying. I am saying that clearly this was important to you, and you felt like you were going to announce it, just simply to make the request to the first selectman to have the discussion on the agenda, so the public is noticed, so they can tune in and hear our discussion about it, and board members can come prepared to have the discussion. That is all.
The first
It's just for
selectman put a lot
notice.
of
I can't believe
pages
that
and
we are
pages of
arguing about
information.
just asking for something.
He could have gave an update about it. It apparently was important to him enough to take up a lot of space in a newsletter.
Okay.
Why not give an update to the board? Why do I have to ask for it?
Because clearly you want to discuss it. And
Well,
you think the
clearly it
public,
should have been
and you
discussed by the
think
first
the
selectman.
public should be noticed about the discussion. So here we are having the discussion, and the
For
public
50
wasn't
years,
noticed.
50 years, there was open board discussion. Now all of a sudden
Okay.
it's shut down and everything has to be, so really, okay.
Okay, item 15, town attorney, executive session with town attorney Phil Pierce, Attorney Ari Hoffman, and attorney Stuart Katz to discuss a pending claim/litigation, Town of Fairfield versus Julian Development LLC and Julian Enterprises LLC. May I have a motion to go into executive session with Phil Pierce, Ari Hoffman, Stuart Katz, to discuss this item?
So Ari isn't on.
Ari's not on. Do we need Ari, Phil? No? Okay, we've got Phil and Stuart Katz. Motion to go into executive session with Phil Pierce, attorney, and Stuart Katz, attorney, to discuss the Town of Fairfield versus Julian Development LLC and Julian Enterprises LLC. May I have a second? Okay. Okay, so we are going into, all in favor say aye. Aye. So we are going into executive session. Thank you. Are we good?
Almost. Yeah, we're good.
All right, motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are out of executive session. No action taken in this matter. Item 16, a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Happy
You too. Happy Easter. Yeah.
Happy warm sun, come.